That's a serious thing to say as a U.S. Senator, pseudo-democracy.
Yeah, well,
not
look,
a full
Look,
democracy.
you get one vote, and Elon Musk can spend $270 million to help elect Trump. Does that sound like a democracy to you?
Does that sound like a democracy to you? Bernie Sanders' voice thunders across the Senate floor as he exposes the shadowy billionaire takeover of our government. The 83-year-old firebrand just unleashed a blistering attack that has Trump and his wealthy cronies panicking. Sanders isn't just criticizing policies anymore. He's warning America that our democracy itself is dying at the hands of Trump's billionaire cabinet. What he revealed next will leave you stunned. Let's jump right into Bernie Sanders' explosive revelation that's shaking Washington to its core. Standing at the Senate podium on April 4th, Sanders didn't hold back. "Look at Trump's inauguration," Sanders declared, pointing to a damning image that tells the entire story. Right behind him were the three wealthiest guys in America: Musk, Bezos, and Zuckerberg. Lincoln talked about a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Well, what we've got now is a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, and for the billionaire class. That's right. Bernie Sanders is calling out exactly what's happening. America has fallen victim to a brazen billionaire coup d'etat. In a shocking CBS interview that's gone viral, Sanders warned that under Trump, the United States has become a pseudo-democracy, where billionaires are literally buying our government.
You get one vote, and Elon Musk can spend $270 million to help elect Trump. Does that sound like a democracy to you?
You get one vote, and Elon Musk can spend $270 million to help elect Trump, Sanders thundered. Does that sound like a democracy to you? That line electrified social media and left the interviewer speechless, but Sanders was just getting started. The Vermont senator exposed how Trump's supposedly populist administration is actually a playground for the ultra-wealthy. He revealed how billionaires like Elon Musk aren't just influencing policy. They're making policy, directly threatening programs millions of Americans depend on.
These guys, led by Musk, and as a result of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, have now allowed billionaires essentially to own our political process.
Mr. Musk and his billionaire friends are laying off thousands of workers at the Social Security Administration, closing down offices all over the country, making it harder for people with disabilities and seniors to get the benefits they paid for their whole lives. Sanders exposed, his voice rising with indignation. So what exactly is this billionaire takeover that Sanders is exposing? It's far more sinister than most Americans realize. Sanders laid out the stark facts. We have more income and wealth inequality today than at any time in the history of America. 3 men now own more wealth than the entire bottom half of American society. CEOs make 300 times what their workers earn. The top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 90%. Meanwhile, 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, many working starvation wages of $11 or $12 an hour. Some homeless, even sleeping in their cars. But instead of helping working people, Trump's budget makes this crisis much worse, Sanders revealed. He exposed how Trump's plan slashes housing assistance and cuts a staggering $880 billion from healthcare for low-income and elderly Americans through Medicaid.
Legislation, this budget, help seniors. What does it do for seniors? Well, it makes it a bad situation much worse.
All this, Sanders points out, to pay for massive tax breaks to billionaires and corporations already enjoying record profits. Need proof? In 2017, Trump pushed through a $1.5 trillion tax cut that overwhelmingly benefited the wealthy. Billionaires collectively saw their wealth explode by roughly $2 trillion thanks to Trump's policies. And now Trump wants to make those tax cuts permanent. Sanders pulled back the curtain on the elite gathering where Trump made that promise. At a single fundraiser at billionaire John Paulson's estate, Trump raked in over $50 million from wealthy donors after promising them extended tax breaks. Trump's promises to his wealthy donors are basically an admission that the election is an auction and a class war, journalist David Sirota observed. But the billionaire takeover goes beyond mere tax breaks. Sanders exposed how Elon Musk has been elevated to an almost king-like role in Trump's government. attending high-level meetings, influencing policy, and reportedly overseeing efforts to shrink the government.
You have some new reporting about Elon Musk and his White House role. What do we know?
Yeah, Kate, over the last several days, we've heard from President Trump in the Oval Office on Monday saying that Elon Musk would be going back to the private sector.
When Musk talks about efficiency and cutting red tape, Sanders translates what that really means: slashing services ordinary Americans rely on while making life easier for corporate giants. Few people, progressive, conservative, or moderate, think we should give tax breaks to billionaires and then cut Medicaid and food for hungry kids, or take a chainsaw to Social Security, Sanders declared, exposing the gulf between what Americans want and what Trump's billionaire cabinet is delivering. But Sanders isn't just concerned about economic fairness. He's sounding the alarm about something far more serious. In his view, this billionaire takeover threatens the very foundation of American democracy. We are talking about the very nature of American society, Sanders warned. Will we be a democracy of by and for the people, or will we descend into oligarchy and authoritarianism? That's not hyperbole. Sanders pointed to Trump's alarming statements about serving beyond the two-term limit, even suggesting there are methods to get a third term despite the Constitution's ban. When asked about that, Sanders didn't mince words. The idea of a third term? Why not? They don't believe in the rule of law. They don't believe in the Constitution. While some laugh off Trump's rantings about a third term as trolling, Sanders isn't laughing at all. Yes, I take that seriously, he said, emphasizing that Trump's movement will break any norm or law in pursuit of power. And it's not just Trump. Sanders exposed how a few billionaires now control not just the government, but much of the news and social media Americans consume, creating a dangerous concentration of wealth, media, and political power. The uber-rich are buying our government and undermining American democracy, Sanders warned in a recent op-ed. The billionaire influence machine has already had devastating effects. Sanders cited Trump's aggressive tariffs, which sent markets into free fall and threatened to devastate the economy. When Wall Street leaders like Jamie Dimon gently warned Trump about these risks, he ignored them, listening instead to billionaire ideologues like Musk and Peter Thiel.
I'm going to kick this off with you because it has been just a major flush out.
This is not one person, one vote. That is not democracy, Sanders insisted. But Sanders isn't just exposing the problem. He's building a movement to fight back. Across America, people are responding to his call to action. On April 5th, massive, hands-off protests erupted in over 200 locations across all 50 states, and even in cities abroad like London, Berlin, and Paris. In Washington, D.C., Congressman Maxwell Frost fired up a crowd by condemning this insidious rise of authoritarianism fueled by corrupt billionaires and mega-corporations who believe they have the right to control every aspect of our lives.
It is so damn good to see this crowd. Yo, we all know that we're living in some dark times. We see the foundations of our society, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the very safety nets that people have fought for generations to ensure that our country lives up to its promise, are being targeted by the billionaires and the oligarchs and the corporations. This insidious rise of authoritarianism is fueled by corrupt billionaires and mega corporations who believe that they have the right to control every aspect of our lives.
Sanders himself has been crisscrossing the country with allies like Repro and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on what they call their Fighting Oligarchy tour. In Denver, a staggering 32,000 supporters turned out, the largest crowd Sanders says he's ever had.
We have never, ever had a rally as large as this.
An estimated 30,000 people filled Denver's Civic Center Park Friday night.
The American people are not going to sit idly by and allow Trump to establish an oligarchic form of government where Musk and other billionaires are running our government. Sanders vowed on ABC's This Week
that the American people are not going to sit idly by and allow Trump establish an oligarchic form of government where Musk and other billionaires are running our government.
He's issued a direct challenge to other Democrats to join him. According to Reprino Ocasio-Cortez, Sanders is leading where others fear to tread. You look around. Who else is doing it? No one. Even President Biden has tacitly acknowledged Sanders' effectiveness, featuring him in a recent White House video to help call out Trump's two-faced promises. "I'm seeing fear, and I'm seeing anger," Sanders told CBS, describing how Americans are reacting to billionaires' overreach. That's exactly what he hopes to harness into a movement powerful enough to stop the billionaire takeover. Sanders has framed this as nothing less than a battle for the soul of America. Democracy versus oligarchy, the people versus the billionaires. "This is not about left or right," he declared in a recent speech. "It's about the top versus everyone else." He's urging Americans not to fall for Trump's culture war distractions. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, if you're not a billionaire, Trump's policies are going to hurt you. The crowds are responding. From New York to San Francisco, from Boston Common to Trafalgar Square, a broad coalition is forming against what Sanders calls oligarchy. Sanders' stark warning is reverberating across the country. America stands at a crossroads. In Trump's vision, wealth and power continue to concentrate at the very top, and democracy withers. In Sanders' vision, ordinary people reclaim their government from billionaire control. As Sanders said, the American people are not going to allow Trump to undermine what our founding fathers built: separation of powers, the rule of law. This is Bernie Sanders' final battle, not just against Trump, but against the entire billionaire class that threatens to transform American democracy into an oligarchy serving only the ultra-wealthy few. If you found this video eye-opening, please hit that like button and subscribe. We need to spread the truth about what's really happening in our government.